Drax is a village in Yorkshire, near where the rivers Aire and Derwent join the River Ouse. At the centre of the village stands the parish church of St. Peter and St. Paul.
Drax originates from a family called Drax. Early English it became Ialda Draga, which meant old portage.
We think this area was significant in the fact that we had the rivers, which was like the modern day motorways. So everywhere could be access from one river to another.
It's thought there has been a settlement at Drax since around 200 AD. Remains of a Romano-British farm have been found nearby. On the edge of the village, a castle once stood.
Castle Hill Farm, it has a square moat which indicates that it was a Saxon castle.
Records suggest that this was destroyed by Stephen of Blois, who was King of England at the time. According to the Domesday Book, Drax Church was already established by 1086. Its exact date of founding is unclear, but there are hints in the detail of the architecture, including the chancel arch and the two fonts.
The one near the vestry door and the north door, I think is the oldest one, the Saxon one. And the one that is the main door as you go in on the left, that's Norman. You can lift the lid on the Saxon one and see the lead lining inside it.
One of the most striking features of the church is the clerestory, which lets light flood into the upper part of the nave. It is likely that this part of the church was built with stone from the remains of Drax Priory. Although little remains of the paintings which would have adorned the walls, statues representing the saints have survived. The beautifully carved pew ends were installed in the church around 1540. The carvings include a sheldrake, emblem of Drax Priory. There are also some unflattering depictions of Henry VIII.
The monastic people didn't like him. When they depicted him in church, it was an insult to him, really.
Hidden behind the vestry screen is a tiny carved mouse. This is the signature of the famous craftsman Robert Thompson, known as the Mouseman of Kilburn. Nearby there is also the signature of one of Thompson's apprentices, Martin Dutton.
I got talking to an old guy and he says, have you seen the carvings of the lizard man? I said, no. He said, well, you have one in your church.
There are many legends of secret tunnels under the church, some leading into the surrounding countryside. One tells a story of a vicar who opened up one of the vaults below the church.
And it was so dismayed what he found. He had it filled up with granite chippings right to the top.
Away from the main road, the churchyard is a haven for wildlife. Drax is home to egrets, owls, and foxes. The Church of St. Peter and St. Paul has been at the centre of life in the village of Drax for nearly 1,000 years. Standing between the river and the road, the famous power station and the more recent wind farm, it is a place of history and community.